And hello and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet, episode number 91.
91. Nine more episodes. Nine more episodes to
Yep,
go, Joel.
we're almost there. Oh my God, don't put pressure on me, Matt. We get to 100 episodes and we're gonna have to actually do something special to commemorate that. I don't know if I'm ready.
No one
Scratch
is ready.
scratch that. I don't know if I'm technologically inclined to make something happen in that time. Hell, I was trying to get the show up on iTunes and I'm like, this is harder than it looks.
Yeah, but that's iTunes. They always make everything very hard.
True enough. So for everyone who's ever said, "Hey, when is the show going to get on iTunes?" I wanted it to be by 100 episodes, but I don't know now.
It's
The moral of the story is I'm trying. So how's your week been, Matt?
been pretty good. Pretty good. We had some good TV happening this week with Shield, Rebels, Jessica Jones. I just finished probably about 15 minutes ago. I actually just finished the second season of Jessica Jones.
Ah, lucky bastard. I got about 7 episodes in, but didn't get a chance to finish it. I know, right? I only had 7 hours to set aside in the last couple of days to sit and watch it. We'll go into our initial thoughts at the end of the episode, but we'll have a full spoiler cast next week when I come back. Well, will you be here next week?
Yes, yes, I will.
Okay, good, because I know Matt's planning to go away, and so I'm trying really hard to get everything in order. We recorded a special commentary track that you'll get when he leaves.
Yeah, that was a fun commentary.
That was a fun commentary. We did Justice League, everybody. That's done, and if you're a patron, you can go watch that. And if you're not a patron, you can become one for as little as $1 a month. That's $12 a year. I'm not doing ads though.
No, no, no. We'd never be, accused of doing ads.
Shilling. Sir, you wound me. I don't even know the meaning of the word. But hey, we actually do have a fair amount of comic book news this week. I'm actually surprised how much happened this week.
Yeah, a lot happened, and a lot happened after we finished our show,
It's
like that
always the
day.
way. No one breaks news on a Sunday is the thing. No one ever breaks news on a Sunday night when we record this.
No, no.
No, but yeah, everyone. So I guess the biggest piece of news, the one we're leading with, and the one that will probably be on the thumbnail. Believe it or not, we don't know what's going to be on the thumbnail until we're done.
Yeah, we make them after.
Yeah, we make them after. We don't go in with that in mind. DC Comics has announced their brand new Black Label imprint, complete with a list of new titles and new creative teams that are going to be taking on these new books.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of like their Elseworlds in a way. This new rebranding of an Elseworlds.
I guess it's very, very strange, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Matt. Well, I am super stoked about some of these creators. In the back of my mind, I cannot help but shake the feeling where it's like, really, really, DC, another imprint? By God, how many imprints do you need? You're like that guy who loves bowling and keeps buying bowling balls.
They have
There's
so many at the moment, and they're having even more because isn't Brian Bendis like doing like three or something?
that's he's basically the Bendis verse, the non-superhero stuff. He's bringing over to DC, Jinx World, I think it is.
Yeah, and he's designing another one as well called Zoom or
Right.
something.
Okay, so we got Zoom, we got Jinx World, although that's mostly just handled
Yeah,
by one guy, Brian Michael Bendis. We got the Young Animal,
yeah,
which is mostly handled by Gerard Way, but I'm sure getting some other people in there. We got the Wildstorm, so you got Warren Ellis in there, and then you got the books that spin off from that.
yeah. So you got
What else is?
five. You got the Vertigo. They just
Oh yeah,
released the Vertigo again. So that's five or
they're
six.
bringing Vertigo back. They keep talking about wanting to bring Milestone back, but that's
Yeah,
mired in, legal BS. That one might never come back if they don't work that one out. But they wanted to bring that one back. Oh, and they got New Age of Heroes in there.
yeah,
So that's seven, eight now. Okay, so that's like almost 10 when you put this one in here. That is a lot of imprints.
yeah. That too many, too many imprints.
It's like Jesus Christ, DC. We already like you. You don't need to spread yourself so thin over so many imprints. Here's a bold idea. How about you tell some stories that actually take place in continuity? I never thought I'd say that. And apparently they say the whole like Didio and all of them when they were talking about, they said the reason they wanted to do the Black Label imprint, ooh, very fancy Black Label. They want you to think of like Scotch or a fine wine or something. Is due to the success of brand new Elseworld stories like Batman, White Knight, and like Nightwing, New World Order, and everything.
Yeah, and that makes sense as to why what 4/5 of them are like Batman titles.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, oh yeah, we're starting the launch by talking about our main Trinity characters, and then we're gonna take it from there. I'm like, oh, well, I mean, you're putting your best foot forward, but at the same time too, it's like, haven't there been a lot of Elseworld stories told about the Trinity?
Yeah, yeah. I'd just prefer like one that was about the DC universe as a whole, like a different one.
Well, supposedly we're going to be getting one of those. We'll talk about the titles in a minute, but oh, I just thought of another thing. Do the Earth One imprint?
Uh,
Because that's another thing they have, the Earth One books. They keep talking about
yeah.
Green Lantern Earth One coming out soon, and I'm like, yeah, you come out with an Earth One book whenever you feel like it as well.
I guess I don't think they actually have an imprint, but who's to say like they won't like? Okay, these books fall under the whatever imprint now.
Well, it's like you're building a universe in the Earth Ones. You've got a couple Batmans, you've got a couple Supermans, one Wonder Woman, and two Titans. I guess the plan is like I always thought of Earth One as being like their answer to the Ultimate Universe, where it's like, hey, you can
Hmm.
just pick it up whenever, man.
Yeah, yeah, it kind of is in a way, and it also feels like a lot of the scripts, especially for like the Superman and Batman ones,
Mhm.
felt like unused movie scripts as well.
And boy, did they ever. And my thing was like, okay, well, what's the end goal with your Earth One universe? But we're getting off topic now. We have a whole list of new titles here that are coming out. They made a big point of saying this is going to be creator driven and done, on creators' time with no particular format or big editorial oversight, which as a comic fan leads me to believe, oh, so they're all going to be late, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, we're not gonna get the end of these until like 2064. You know.
That's instantly my thought, where it's like, okay, so creator driven, allowed to do their own formats. Okay, then, so don't get used to these coming out on time. But yeah, the first one we have here, oh Matt, they let crazy Uncle Frank back into the house. He jimmied a window and found his way back in.
He came through the crawl spaces.
We thought we locked all the doors after Dark Knight 3. We thought he wasn't going to get back in again, but much like the Freddy Krueger looking fellow he is, we woke up in the night and he was standing over our bed. You can't forget me. But yes, Frank Miller is giving us Superman Year 1.
Yes, because everyone wants an origin story again.
For Superman,
Let alone an old Frank Miller origin story for Superman.
There is maybe one point in time when I would have actually been interested, in a Superman Year 1 comic, and that would probably have been like, oh, I don't know, what year did Batman Year 1 come out? Was
Like
that
eight, I would say 87,
8?
88.
It
Yep.
was 88, yeah. 88 would be the year that I would really be interested in a Frank Miller Superman Year 1 story. The fact is, he's not that Frank Miller anymore. The fact is, I don't even know what Frank Miller is
No,
anymore.
that 88 Frank Miller died a long time ago, and from the corpse came this embittered old man, Frank Miller.
He, he went back to his home planet, Matt. It needed him. Also, like, here's the thing too. It's like, really, so for your brand new, the thing too about Black Label, it's like, oh, it's going to be adult, it's going to be R-rated, not as much editorial oversight. So you're letting Frank Miller off the chain right out of the bat.
With Superman, Jesus Christ.
Okay, guys, okay. I think you're getting a little cocky about Superman. You had 2 really solid years there where Superman was better than he'd been in a long time. Now you're letting Bendis take the other 2 books and you're letting crazy Uncle Frank get up to bat with it. Are you for real?
This is the darkest timeline.
We may be in the darkest time. I mean, if everything else in the world didn't tell you we're in the darkest timeline. It
Yeah.
gets even weirder because it's like, hey, DC guys, I get the feeling you've probably read some of Frank Miller's work. If there's a recurring theme in all of it, it's that he thinks Superman sucks.
Yeah, yeah, and Superman isn't better than Batman, and I wonder if Batman's gonna factor into this. Oh God.
Oh, Wouldn't that be something? He just backdoors his Batman in there. Haha, it's you thought it was Superman Year One, but it's actually a sequel slash ending to All-Star Batman and Robin.
Oh God.
Superman goes to the future in this story, and he meets the All-Star Batman and Robin.
Jesus Christ.
Let us not forget that when the last time Frank Miller did a thing, Dark Knight 3 again, full of delays, didn't really meet a lot of people's expectations for it. He had help on that one. He had Brian Azzarello watching over him and being his babysitter. He doesn't even have that now because Azzarello also has a book in Black Label.
Yeah, he's fully unchained in this, and the only other person he's working with is John Romita Jr., who as well isn't too good nowadays.
That, a lot of people say that his art has degraded over the years. I like Romita Jr. I'll go to bat for him. The dude is really good with violence. He does really good in action scenes and violence, which again makes me think, oh, is Superman Year One going to be really violent,
No.
Franks? You don't even know the backyard brawls that Superman got involved in his youth.
Oh God. No, please no.
Oh, I know. This is gonna be something, man. I freaking tell you what. Will he be able to top Dark Knight 3, where he turned a group of evil Kryptonians into ISIS? Oh, polygamous ISIS with a bunch of different wives, who then their big supervillain plan was to give Kryptonians like pills that made them explode in cities?
Yeah, something like that. I didn't fucking read that book. I'm never gonna read that book.
I read halfway into it, and I'm like, okay, I'm done now. I've had just enough of this.
That's what's really like weird about. I know they announced it while that book was still going on, but like, couldn't they see like the people's reaction to that book and be like, you know what? Let's give this guy Superman. I like what he's doing here.
It's like, look, we all love Dark Knight Returns. We all love his Daredevil work. We all like, the early parts of Sin City and Ronin and all that other stuff. But it's also like, guys, I think we have to admit Frank Miller has been bad for longer than he's been good now.
Yeah, he really has. His
bad
bad outweighs the good.
Like, I know that's hard to accept, but like for every Dark Knight Returns and every Daredevil and everything else, you have like a Holy Terror and you have like crazy ass rants on the internet. I know his name is still Frank Miller and that's still synonymous with Batman, and you slap that on something and it'll sell, but it's like, is it even worth it, guys?
Yeah. Now the thing I'm really interested about this book is if they're gonna pull what they did with Dark Knight 3 and have like every issue has 20 variants, and then each issue gets released as a hardcover, and then all this other shit, you could buy the slip book for it, and all this bullshit they had for Dark Knight 3.
I get the feeling, Matt. I get the feeling there will be much gimmickry with this, as there is much gimmickry with a lot of, Frank Miller books. Now, the other one, again, we mentioned Azzarello. Well, he's got a new book coming out, too, in Black Label, and it's called Batman Damned.
Yeah,
is what it's called.
There's a couple of Batman books coming out.
Yeah, I mean, they know who pays the rent around there. It's a Batman Joker team up, but also apparently John Constantine is going to play a big part in this story, which is interesting because Azzarello actually wrote Hellblazer for a fair amount of time.
Yeah, I think the story is that like the Joker dies or something.
Yeah,
on like a bridge, someone like kills him. No one knows who did it, and Batman's like trying to solve that crime, which I think is really interesting. I think that's pretty cool.
Murder mystery with magic. I quite liked, even though it took years to finally get released, but I could actually have seen it being a Black Label book. Do you remember Batman Europa from Brian Azzarello?
I do. I didn't read it, but I remember you telling me about it, and it sounded really cool.
It was really, really solid. And you know what? I hope we get that kind of Azzarello and less of like, Azzarello on Joker, if you remember that one, which ironically he is reteaming with the artist from Joker. So if nothing else, the book will probably look really good.
Yeah, Lee Bremberjo, I think his name is.
Bremigio, I think it's pronounced. But
his art's really good.
His art is really good. I'm interested to see what they do with that one. Now, it's the third one here that was probably the biggest piece of news, because this actually marks something we've never seen before, and that is that Kelly Sue DeConnick who, of course, famous Marvel writer, perhaps most well known for her reinvigorating of Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers. She's going to be writing a Wonder Woman book for
Hmm.
Black Label, but it's not the sort of Wonder Woman book you would think, and that is that it doesn't seem to focus on Diana particularly. It's called Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons, and it's going to be a whole comprehensive history of the DC Universe Amazons from, their time being captured by Hercules to right up until Steve Trevor shows up on the island.
Yeah, this is the kind of book I like. I like stuff like
Hmm.
like when they do histories of certain people.
Hmm.
So I'm really interested in who was the artist on this one. I didn't see the
I
artist.
I did not get the artist's name, but it looks very unique. It looks like very like old timey paintings.
Yeah, so if anything, it's probably going to look very nice, and I'm really
It's
interested.
Phil Jimenez.
Oh, it's definitely going to look very nice.
Yeah, yeah. So they're definitely putting a strong art thing. You know what? For a book that's gonna, look as good as that, and for being Kelly Sue DeConnick's first time writing a DC book, as far as I know, that I'm actually willing to wait for.
Yeah, that one's going to be really good. And I think out of all of them, I think they're all going to come out on a really regular schedule except for probably Frank Miller's work.
He's got some problems, doesn't he? Another first timer writing for DC, we have John Ripley with a series, The Other History of the DC Universe, which, like you said, this is apparently, trying to be a comprehensive history of the DC Universe, but like, told like in the style of like a historic drama or like a textbook or something.
Yeah, this one also really interests me as well because I like when they do like these history books of like the comic universes. So yeah, it's really interesting, and it's interesting that they say the other history. So whether it's referencing like a part don't really explore, like maybe the magic
Mm,
side or something, the cosmic side,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what that one's about.
I mean, I guess all history in DC lore is technically the other history because you're dealing with so many crises and retcons and flashpoints and everything else. What
Yeah.
do you mean this history going on right now? No, no, no. I mean the other history. I could totally see that. I mean, heck, Grant Morrison actually plunged really good material out of just being like, okay, now I'm going to sit down and tell you about every crisis through the eyes of the Flash.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure they'll do so. I'm definitely interested in that one, both because it's someone who's never written for DC before, and I like the idea of someone trying to take a stab at a comprehensive history. Although knowing comics, it won't be comprehensive for long.
No, 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 and it's technically like an Elseworld. So how much of it
That
is
too.
canon and not, and what isn't?
Exactly. It's so very very weird. Next up, we have our old boy Zack Snyder and Greg Capullo teaming up again for Batman: Last Night on Earth.
You mean Scott Snyder?
Oh, what did I say? Did I say Zack Snyder?
Yeah, I was gonna say if he wrote a Batman book, I would not be reading that.
Or would you read it and would you love it? Yo, bro, the night was dark and full of terrors, bro. Batman was totally pimping around the street. He was driving that bitch in bat car, the guns on it. Wait, why did it need to have all the guns on? It had all the guns on it. Yeah, he was drinking and driving and taking pills. What else would you do? You just got a sick burn on down at the gym doing the thing where you crouch down and you flip the tire over and over. All the best exercises involve tires, bro. I didn't know that actually. I've been going to the gym recently, and turns out, yeah, more exercises than I thought actually involve tires. Like
Oh
really,
God, jeez.
you're either hitting the tire or you're moving the tire or you're jumping on tires. A lot of tires. Big growth industry for tires. Who knew? But yeah, this story is apparently, but by the description of it, sounds very close to the Scott Snyder Capullo stuff we saw at certain points during his main universe Batman run, and that is, hey, it's Batman at during like the apocalypse, Batman at the end of the world, essentially.
Yeah, that seems to be like a lot of his stories.
Hmm. Like heck, many many times during his run, we saw flashes to like apocalyptic Batman driving around in like a Mad Max Batmobile.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, this would be pretty interesting because as well he's got the head of the Joker or something, and it like
Yeah,
speaks
yeah.
to him or something.
Which again sounds very much like Sin City, or sounds like, bring me the head of Aldo Montoya or whatever.
Yeah, so that's gonna be pretty cool, and at least we know it's gonna like look and
Mm.
be written better than the current Batman book.
Oh, we'll get to that, don't you worry. It's kind of funny to think of, like, Scott Snyder, where it's like, okay, here's your own universe to play around. Here's like, take, take all the limiters off, man. Just do whatever you want, because it seems like he always just did that anyway.
He kind of did that anyway. But this might like mean like everything is off because he's not in continuity with everything else.
I guess.
And yeah, he can just like Frank Miller, the chains are off.
Yeah, breaking the chains, man, I tell you. We have yet another Wonder Woman book. Again, these are almost all Trinity books. They know where to go. And once again, Greg Rucka, old hand at Wonder Woman, is back once again. I don't feel he ever got to finish his Wonder Woman run in the DC Rebirth era the way he wanted to, but he's got a brand new story now, and this one is called Diana's Daughter.
Ooh, interesting. So we're gonna get a new origin.
I mean, isn't that always the way it seems? Whenever Greg Rucka comes to write Wonder Woman, we get a brand new origin. No, I like the idea of Wonder Woman being a mom, because, so much of her character is defined with her relationship with her own mother, and,
Yeah.
all that other stuff. It would be interesting to see what happens if she has a kid of her own. And also, how is she going to have a kid of her own? Is she going to have it the old fashioned way? Is this like, demigod Wonder Woman who could essentially have children? Or are we going back to Clay Wonder Woman here, for whom having kids is like, I don't know, man.
Again, changing the origin to fit the story.
To fit the story. Again, I think Greg Rucka is very much on Team Clay, but I think DC, after that movie, they're like, no, we're on Team Demigod.
Yeah, very much.
For the record, I am on Team Clay. I think that's far too unique to ignore.
Exactly,
and yet
it's really cool.
They super ignore it. I guess they're like, but we're making a movie, though. How are we going to sell a woman who's basically a golem? It's like, don't think of it like that. No, we're going to think of it like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's DC Black Label, everyone. Overall, most of these sound fun and interesting, but at the same time, I can't help but feel this is a lot of creativity you could be putting in the main universe right now, but it seems like you're spreading it out elsewhere.
Yeah. I guess some of these people could come into like the main DC universe depending on how they do in this, especially like Kelly Sue DeConnick. This might be like a trial run or something.
I don't know why you would need a trial run for someone like her. Like, literally, I think you could have generated as much response, if not more response, if you're like, okay, hey, we got Kelly Sue DeConnick, she's writing Wonder Woman now, or, oh, she's writing Batgirl or something else, writing anything, really. I'd be like, oh, shit, it's her, but for DC.
Well, maybe like she pitched this to them and they said like, look, we don't have any room for it right now. We can do it in this Black Label, and then when we do have room, we can put you on like a book.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, didn't Kevin Grievous, now that I stop and think about it, didn't he do a miniseries back during like DC about the Amazons in the early days? I could be wrong.
Yeah, no. I do remember that. I can't remember what it was called, but I do remember like reading the first issue, and yeah, it was like the Amazons long before like Diana and Hippolyta and all that sort of stuff. Like, yeah, it was like caveman Amazon sort of thing.
I think it was just called the Amazons, to where I'm like, well, wait, I guess that one is canon, but this one won't be canon.
So I have no idea.
Yeah, if anything in DCU was canon, they're very squirrely on that. Hey, remember when Jim Gordon was in a Batman mech suit? That never happened.
Although he kind of might have, because Luke still has that armor.
He still has the armor. I like that. I'm glad they weren't afraid to let that die. Look, we're never going to talk about it, but the armor is here. Now it's a butler. Moving on from the world of comics to the world of superheroes on Netflix. Did you see this, Matt? Did you hear about this here? Netflix is apparently developing Extreme Universe shows. Don't know what the Extreme Universe is? That's Rob Liefeld's pet project and his pet company.
Oh god, this is gonna be awesome.
If any of them get off the ground, I have a strong feeling that they're gonna get like halfway into this and Netflix gonna be like, what the fuck are we doing?
I don't know, Netflix are pretty fast and loose with what they spend their money on nowadays, so
These days they are. Like, I know it used to be like, man, Netflix, they're so bold and daring. It's stuff you could never get on television. It's Orange is the New Black. It's BoJack Horseman. It's all this other stuff. Now it's kind of like, hey, we'll buy literally anything and everything.
Yeah, literally anything and everything.
Man, that Mute movie's not great. We'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, this movie with Jared Leto as a Yakuza member, it's okay, but we'll take it.
Sure, but picture deal with Adam Sandler, you know it.
Yeah, multiple comedy specials from comedians who aren't funny. Sure.
And I'm glad you mentioned the stand-up comedy thing, because I am always on the stand-up page of Netflix, because that's like the new HBO. Now they're doing crazy stuff where it's like, okay, here's stand-up comedians who don't even speak English from like countries you've never heard of, doing shows in places you've never heard of, and I'm like, really? They got a Netflix special?
I've never even heard of these people.
It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's very funny if I understood what he was saying. If I spoke Malaysian or if I spoke whatever language he's in, I'm sure he's pretty fun. These are from countries I didn't even know had stand-up comedy scenes. I mean, good for them, I guess. Get ready for the comic multiverse comedy hour.
Yeah. We're in like a 20-picture deal with Netflix for it.
I mean, we're in a 20-picture deal. We don't have one idea, but we have a 20-picture deal. Don't you worry. Look, we'll come up with the ideas later. But yeah, the Extreme Universe from Rob Liefeld. Finally, we'll get to see such great characters as Blood Gun and Fist.
Yeah. And Pouch
and Boob
Man.
Woman.
Yeah, Boob Woman.
Pouch Man. Now that's a series right there. We joke, of course, that all of his characters are the same and derivative, but at the same time, let's actually have a look at characters from the Extreme Universe to see if we actually frickin' know who any of these people are.
I don't know any of them, but I can say like, oh, that's like not Cable, that's not Deadpool, that's not Grifter.
Yeah, not Deathstroke and not Shatterstar and not Wolverine. Where it's like, dude, do you only do versions that look like stuff you did?
Yeah.
Is Youngblood in the Extreme Universe, or is that some shit that he lost?
I don't actually know. Wasn't there like a Youngbloods series happening though?
There was talk of it
or something. Yeah.
I mean, there's always talk. But okay, here's some characters. Okay, including titles such as Brigade, Battlestone, Bloodstrike. Okay, Bloodstrike is basically close to what we were joking about. Kaboom. Regex, Cybird. Get it? It's like cyborg, but it's a bird.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and Bloodwolf. Okay, Bloodwolf I actually know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But Bloodwolf looks like if Lobo and Wolverine had a baby. And in fact, in Bloodwolf #1, for some weird reason, the artist drew Lobo in there, and Bloodwolf actually, knocks into Lobo.
Oh, God.
Bloodwolf also drives a spaceship that is, I shit you not, a giant gun.
So, like Lobo's giant motorcycle.
Basically. Only it's a gun. And of course, Bloodwolf isn't spelled WOLF like you would think. It's spelled Blood WULF.
A little bit of German there.
Oh, yeah. But Bloodwolf, I believe his name is German. Yes, from the Deutschland Bloodwolf family. But no, seriously, like Google any of these characters we've said. They're all goddamn ridiculous, and Netflix thinks that you're going to want to watch shows about them.
Yeah, maybe they're all getting a comedy special.
Maybe they're getting a comedy special. I don't know. They could be. They really could be. That would be hilarious, where it's like, yeah, we got the 21 Jump Street guys on board. We're going to do these, but they're just ridiculous parodies.
That'd be pretty cool, like Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
We're already giving it too much credit. Oh, and as I sit here and look at Bloodstrike now, Bloodstrike is literally a Cable guy and a Deadpool guy, so clearly he wasn't allowed to write them anymore, so he just created characters who were very close to them. Because that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Rob Liefeld, like most of those old Image guys, gets sued by positively everyone they've ever worked with. So, be sure, coming to a Comic Multiverse news segment near you, Rob Liefeld sued by Netflix.
Yeah, it'll be sued by someone.
I don't know what he's done, but he's probably gonna do something.
maybe
Now
he's
look,
got to like write a character who's basically Netflix, but not Netflix.
oh, gun flicks, blood flicks, strike flicks. Seriously, Rob, you just have 5 words written on your arm, and then you just fit them into
yeah. Combinations of the words. There's millions.
a million characters every time. I've been working in the comic industry for decades. Man, you can't even hate Rob Liefeld like that because it's like, hey, if you're just like, fun enough to be around, you can fail upwards in the comic industry over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, by all account, anyone who hangs out with Rob Liefeld says he's a hoot, that he's just a great guy to hang out with, but never work with him, though.
I follow him on Twitter, and he seems like a really fun dude.
Yeah, he seems like the funnest guy at the bar, is what he sounds like.
Yeah, in his goddamn jeans.
In his goddamn jeans there. Now look, here's the thing. To really capture the extreme universe in Netflix form, well, all the shows need to be shot from the ankle up so we never have to see the characters' feet.
Yeah. I'd love if that was like a running joke in the show, like what the fuck is wrong with your feet? But we never actually see said feet.
See, we give this way too much credit. If you gave this to me and Matt, we would write it as straight up comedies parodying the superhero genre. Heck, we could even parody problems with like Marvel Netflix shows where it's like, okay, they're all going to be 13 episodes, and we're going to have a whole episode where they sit around. They're like, no, man, we got to get this to 13 episodes. Really? Because for most of these, it feels like we don't have enough material to actually go to 13, but we do it anyway. But yes, that's the extreme universe coming to a streaming service near you in the future, probably, but probably not also.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if any of these get made, I will be legitimately amazed.
It'd be pretty amazing to see if any of them get made, yeah.
I will say this right now for posterity's sake, and I will say this on camera. If even one of these shows gets made and gets put on Netflix, I will buy a hat and then eat that hat.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that, Joel. I'm gonna hold you to that.
It's like, how they say, man, I really got to eat crow on this one. Joel, you got to eat hat on this one. Are you ready to eat hat? Are you ready to be like Shoe Nice and eat all the shit he eats? It might make the show more interesting. Shoe Nice, for those of you who don't know, is someone Matt turned me on to. What does he do, Matt?
He eats anything and everything. And I mean literally anything and everything. Not just food, but like rubber bands and like glue.
And he has a very popular channel, and I would hate to be his colon. He's like the sort of guy where he would go to the doctor, and the doctor would be like, what the hell are you doing? I just eat stuff.
Yeah, he'd start eating shit at the doctor's office.
And then he'd film
like
it, and
the tongue depressor and the...
get 100,000 views. Gotcha. That man I love because he is like a modern day Carney. He's like, I will bite the heads off these chickens. I will do whatever for attention. Throw some change in my jar. Just gotta proof that if you just have a video camera and a dream, you can do anything.
Yep.
Shoe Nice for president. Shoe Nice 2020. That's what I want. Whenever there's a big problem on like the geopolitical stage, he'll like go to the UN and be like, look, whatever the problem is, I am dedicated to eating this. I am the president of the United States.
I'll eat all of North Korea's nukes.
Exactly. But President Shoe Nice, we have too much debt. What do we do? I'll eat the debt. Man, I sure hope people know who we're talking about, because if not, this last little bit will make no goddamn sense.
That one person who knows who this is laughing.
There are so many confused people in the comment section right now being like, what the fuck are they on about? But yeah, from there to the world of Star Wars, and Matt, it's funny, we joked a couple episodes back about how Disney has so many Star Wars projects on the go right now. They just walk around with a big suitcase and they open it up to potential creators. And they're like, pick a Star Wars. Just pick any Star Wars. And apparently Jon Favreau is the newest man they've gone to and said, pick a Star Wars.
He was. They got him. They're getting him to write and I guess direct either all or some episodes of this new Star Wars live action TV series.
And he's producing too.
Yeah, producing as well.
So he's just doing everything.
I wonder if this is connected to the Game of Thrones guys stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing too with all these new Star Wars projects, especially the TV projects. With the movies, that's pretty easy and straightforward, but they have so many TV projects. It's like, wait. Is this going to be on actual television, or is this going to be on that new Disney streaming app you keep hyping up? Like, where am I actually going to be able to see these things?
Yeah. They haven't announced that, and I don't even think they even know yet.
No, I don't think they do either, and, like, that's kind of scary, actually.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look, it's Star Wars. It doesn't matter where we put it. It'll do huge because it's Star Wars.
It's true.
In fact, we're thinking about we're not even going to film this next one on film. We're going to film it on Fruit by the Foot, and people are going to see it that way. Look, we're not even going to, like, display it on TV or in movie theaters. We're going to put it on the side of big buildings in New York, like in Jessica Jones, and you got to go up to the roof to watch it. And if they did that, me and Matt would be like, oh, I guess we got to go to New York then and find a big building to watch these on. I mean, what am I going to do? Am I going to not see the new Star Wars project projected on a tall building? I'm not going to be the only one to not do that, and I'm going to write it off as a business expense, too, because I needed to see it. But yeah, I like Jon Favreau. I trust him. I think, he's a director with a lot of depth and complexity to him, and I mean, he's done Disney no harm in the past. He was the guy they gambled Iron Man with, and he ended up making them back their money and then some, and basically delivering a huge multimedia empire to them.
Yeah, and he's been involved in Star Wars before. He was a voice in the Clone Wars.
That's right.
He's a voice in the new Han Solo film.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, he's playing like some alien on like Han's crew.
He is an actor too. That's the other thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's pretty good fit for this, and I'm actually surprised it took him this long to get him involved in something like this.
Yeah. Now that you stop and think about it, he was the Death Watch commander in Clone Wars, right? That was the thing that he voiced.
Yeah, pre-Vizsla,
which, man, wouldn't it be something where it's like, okay, so John, what character should we focus on for this new series? Pre-Vizsla. Are you just picking that because you voiced him? Yes, I am.
It would be a bit hard. He was killed, so.
Damn it. Okay, so what if he didn't die, though? That's my first order of business. Where would he be now?
What if instead of Maul killing him, he killed Maul?
Also, can I be him on the show? I'm like, well, you're kind of a little paunchy and a little short for it. Okay, can I dub my voice over another actor? But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in this. Again, it's the Wild West time for Star Wars right now. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what this show's about. Especially, we've got like those two, maybe two. We don't even know if they're together with the Game of Thrones guys. But yeah, could have two different types of Star Wars shows, like a crime one or like a mystery one or something. I'd like a horror show as well.
Ooh. It is such a big, vast universe. You could do any genre in it and make sense. Like, if they came out and said, oh, we're doing a romantic comedy set in the city of Coruscant, you'd be like, I'll watch it.
Yeah, it would make sense. They have comedy in Star Wars. So.
They do, despite what many people think.
Oh, yeah,
all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Look, I'll watch this Sex in the City on Coruscant. I'll give it a couple episodes. Man, these Twi'lek women, they got so many problems, and they're so filthy. But I'm going to keep watching, though. Oh, what kind of new purse is Aurora Singh going to buy? I don't know, but she's probably going to shoot someone to get it, and that's going to be fun. Keeping up with the Dathomirian witches.
Keeping them up with the Dathomirians.
It's literally just keeping up with the Kardashians and all that other shit.
Yeah, but with magic.
Yeah, it's filmed like a reality show. You're just following around Dathomirian witches, and I'm like, man, this is a weird combo, but it works, right, guys? My super Sith 16th birthday.
Oh God.
Look, I
uh,
want to take the looking cruiser now, or I will force choke the shit out of you. Good, good. Let the greed and entitlement flow through you. Man, a lot of the girls on that show were feeling the dark side. I think Sidious could have picked out any one of them. It's like, yes, you are all negative emotions. What if I told you you could bring people back to life? That doing anything for you there, Beth?
Hey, Beth.
I was trying to think, like, what's the ultimate, like, like, basic white girl name? No, Becky. Secrets of the Dark Side. That doing anything for you, Becky? Anything at all? No, you just want your cake that looks like a Lamborghini. Okay, I'll take my business elsewhere. Oh, God damn it. So what we're saying is there's a lot of places you can go in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, a lot of places.
And chances are, at the rate they're turning out these shows, we're going to go to all of them.
Yeah.
It is funny, too. You're right, because they got Favreau working on this one. They got the Game of Thrones guys working on another one, apparently. Are they just going to put them in a pit, and are they going to have them fight it out to see who wants it more?
Toss in the knife. Go ahead. Dive for the knife. Dive for the knife.
Mickey Mouse comes in. Ho, so we got two great new pitches here. We see, ho. Oh, but who wants it more? Then he breaks the pool cube. We're going to have tryouts.
And then Dave Filoni comes in and kills the winner.
Oh, shit. Oh, because you see, that's the thing. Like, David Filoni, under his cowboy hat, he actually has a gun.
That's why he always wears it.
Once again, Dave Filoni proving why he's the best at this.
Yeah, because he's going to have another show as well, another show to follow on Rebels.
Which, man, I don't know how you top Rebels, which might be one of the greatest things they've ever done. And, I mean, we'll talk about Rebels more later. We're actually thinking of devoting the next episode to all TV because there's a lot we got to catch up on.
Yeah.
Now, we do have a little bit more comic news here. Jeff Lemire is going to be writing a solo Sentry series for Marvel.
About bloody time the Sentry came back.
I know, right? He came back in Doctor Strange, and apparently he's just riding a huge sea of people totally stoked he's back.
Yeah. People like the Superman analogies and everything. And now that people like Superman, they want to see more of those type of analogies.
I know, right? I imagine somewhere in the background there's Hyperion being like, who's going to write about me, though? Hyperion actually did have a book, is the thing.
Yeah.
Like you can't even joke and you can't even front about Hyperion. I think he actually got his first, is the funny thing.
Yeah.
Friggin' Hyperion, man. Yeah, I mean, I haven't kept up with Sentry since he came back to life. Is he still crazy? Is he still worrying about the Void and all that other shit?
In the little synopsis thing, they did tease the Void. Like
right.
The Void would be involved somehow. We're not sure how though, but very interesting though.
It is. I can understand why people like the Sentry. He's a cool concept, like you said. He's a Superman analog, but unlike Superman, who is like, always sure of himself and can always overcome anything because, he's red, white, and blue and true and all that other good stuff. The Sentry has all that godlike power, but crippling anxiety and mental disorders.
Yeah. As sort of personified by the Void, who like constantly on him and trying to like come out and sort of take over as that personality. And wreak havoc on everything.
And it's also like he almost has like a bit of a Hulk hang up too, which is ironic because they retconned him to be really good friends with the Hulk. This idea that the more he uses his powers, the more at risk he is of giving up control to the Void.
Yeah. So he's a very interesting character, and I'm glad he's finally come back. How long's it been since he's been gone? Like ages.
We were still working at Comic Book Cast when he went away for the last time, when he was made like a Horseman of the Apocalypse for like Remember's original Uncanny Avengers, like back when that was new.
Yeah, so it's a long time. He's been gone for a couple of years.
Like 5-6 years almost.
Yeah, so it's about time he's due back.
And written by Jeff Lemire, no less. Good clean Canadian boy from Toronto. Go.
Yeah, Lemire's like a really good writer.
He is. It's funny to see him writing for Marvel. I assume DC had like knocked him down to an exclusive contract.
Obviously not.
Yeah, like I assumed he was going over writing shit for them and we were never going to see him again. I guess not.
Maybe he just had like a really good pitch for Sentry, and then when he
I
saw
guess.
them that when they said like, hey, we're going to be bringing him back, he's like, I have a pitch for that.
Yeah, because I can vaguely remember it being like, okay, so as soon as Jeff Lemire is done with his Thanos run, we're probably never going to see him again over here. But he came back.
Yeah,
Good for him. Hopefully that's indicative of where Marvel is going right now, that they're, enticing creators with interesting prospects and interesting projects.
yeah, I'm really excited for this book, and I'm going to read it. When's it coming out? Did it say May, April,
Uh, it's
May?
it's part of Fresh Start.
Okay, when's that start? That's like,
I don't know.
yeah, it probably
So,
sometime the end of this year probably.
sooner rather than later, because a lot of these books are wrapping up once they hit their big landmark numbers.
Yeah.
And speaking of landmark numbers, Deadpool is going to be hitting 300 very soon. And once it does, Jerry Duggan is officially done with that series now. Again, after an almost 6-year run, he's going to be wrapping it up. And Skottie Young is going to be taking over with a brand new Deadpool #1.
Yeah, very interesting for a number of
Yeah.
reasons, mainly because Scotty Young had those allegations against him not too long ago. Um,
Yeah, he did.
so it's interesting that he's back working at Marvel. On Deadpool, which I imagine, since it's going back to #1, we're going to get the fun Deadpool that we've always kind of
That's
had, even though we weren't teased that.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what it looks like. The one piece of art we see, it's Deadpool with like a big green snot bubble coming out of his mask and everything. And I'm like, all right, we're having wacky shenanigans Deadpool again. Skottie Young, who's known for doing like really cutesy, really funny stories and everything. I can see him being a good fit for the book, and yet at the same time, too, I'm like, oh, I hope they wrap up Ellie and Agent Preston and everything before Jerry Duggan goes, because that's like the shit that actually kept me invested in Deadpool
Yeah,
these like last 6 years.
yeah, that's the stuff that interested me. But yeah, after you saying that like the books never really touched on any of that, I kind of dropped off.
Not again, it has. I think they're heading back there, but I think it's like that's going to be in the last 5 issues. He's probably going to cram everything in and try and finish it
Yeah,
off.
I don't
I,
like that.
no, I don't like it that much either. But you know what? You had 6 pretty solid years there where you had stories like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and this other stuff where it's like, wow, I actually buy Deadpool as a character now, and I actually see him as a sad clown, and I see all this other stuff to him. Good on you, man. You deserve it.
Yeah, yeah, there was some really good stories in that time. But yeah, interesting to see what Scotty Young's going to do with it. But yeah, I don't know.
Now it's funny too, Matt. You said that how Skottie Young had some allegations against him that weren't too nice. Well, here's the thing. Duggan isn't the only one leaving the Deadpool book. The Deadpool book is actually losing its editor. In fact, Marvel is losing one of their big editors, one of their longtime editors, Heather Antos. Antos, you'll probably know from social media. She's very, very active. In fact, she's one of the few people from DC editorial I have ever talked to, which
Yep.
is a rare thing to say. Like, she was so personal. When I first talked to her, I thought she was just a super fan. It wasn't until I checked her thing that I'm like, oh my God, you actually work for the company. You're an editor. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm friends with her on Steam, and I've actually played some like player unknown games with her and everything.
Yeah.
I think she's also like the editor of the Star Wars books at the moment or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
very, very prominent editor, and it's quite a few things we like. Actually, is
yeah,
the thing. She announced this week. It was rumored before on Bleeding Cool because Bleeding Cool freaking leaks everything. Of course they do. That she was leaving Marvel editorial to start a brand new career in the world of esports, of all things. She's got a brand new gig over there with a new startup company. Which all I could think when I heard that is I'm like, wow. I don't know how much a comic editor gets paid, but man, it's sad to think that you could get a pretty solid trade up by going to the world of esports.
yeah. That's it's kind of sad, but yeah. I know she really likes video games. She's always on Steam playing the video games and everything. And I think she's pretty good at them as well.
Yeah,
Uh, she wouldn't be going to esports if she wasn't. But
that's
yeah,
it.
very interesting. I don't watch a lot of esports. I watch like
Neither do
here
I.
here and there, like in the background. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's not something I find very interesting. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of gotten into the fighting game stuff the last couple of years, but that's only because Vice and a few other YouTube channels highlighted that Sonic Fox guy who's like the freaking Michael Jordan of fighting games. he's also a furry, so he goes around wearing like blue cat ears and a tail and everything. And you're like, look at this idiot, and then he destroys people. Like he's like, I'm not even looking, and I'm beating it. I'm like, wow, this guy is a modern day prodigy. Holy shit! I bet you didn't think video game Jordan would have a blue foxtail, but there it is. There he is, and he's just wrecking. Actually, what is it? I'm going to EGLX this week, and a bunch of like the big Canadian fighting game players are going to be there. I think Honeybee and a few other people. Which that's my other favorite thing about professional fighting games. They all have ridiculous screen names.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You see that? That's Dookie Shoes over there. You gotta worry about Dookie Shoes.
I like I've seen like some of those like ridiculous like trailers they make for like the teams. Have you seen any of them with like
yes,
the entrances and stuff? It's like you're playing a video game. You're not going out and playing an Olympic level sport or anything.
This is as close as I will get to it, Matt. And if I was that good, oh my god, I would be the fucking Ric Flair of video games. If I was good at, I would come out in a silken satin robe, going woo, just get all up in people's faces. I would drive a Cadillac through the side of the building, and then step out and then say I'm the greatest.
Oh god.
I'd be the LeBron James of video games if I was even just kind of good. Practice? Who needs practice? I don't want to pass. Well, you don't have to, man. If you're playing a single player game, it's actually very conducive. Fuck you, press conference over. But yeah, it's funny, again, to bring it back to what we were saying. It's interesting that Skottie Young, a guy with all these allegations, come in, and Heather Antos leaves.
Yeah. We're not saying there's no connection, but yeah.
We're just saying if you were to put on your tinfoil hat and pull out your string theory board.
Yeah.
Makes you think, doesn't it? But hey, you know what? Wishing Heather Antos the best. Like we said, super nice lady, actually, from all of our interactions with her. And yeah, from comic and esport news, we have some movie news here, Matt. Maybe you heard this. The Flash movie with Ezra Miller has had a little bit of a tumultuous time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, much like most of these DCEU movies.
Sad but true. They've lost 2 directors already, and it seems like their idea was like, well, look, if one director will leave on us after this much time, we'll get 2 new directors, and they'll stay with us twice as long.
Yeah, so if one leaves, we still have one.
There you go. Two new directors now. John Francis Daley, no relation to me, he spells his with an E, and Johnathan Godlstein or Godlstein. I'm only kind of aware of these guys. What have they done before? Do you know?
I know they directed that reboot of the Vacation series with Ed Helms.
Oh, I didn't mind that. Wasn't as good as the original, but it was okay.
They just made another movie that's in the cinemas at the moment. I can't remember what it's saying, but it's got Jason Bateman in it.
True IMDb. Oh, Game Night.
Yeah, I think they might have either directed or wrote that.
Right. Yeah, they did Game Night. Oh no, wait. John Francis Daley there. He was an actor in that one. Actually, he's an actor in Game Night. Okay, so this guy acts and directs.
Okay.
That's pretty good. You know, it means that he can probably work well with actors and everything. Mm-hmm. Oh no, he acted in and he directed it too. Okay, so he had a walk-on cameo.
Okay.
I mean, you know, there would be a time in my life where I'd be like, I don't know, guys who did comedies doing like superhero movies, but as we've learned very well with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, does not mean shit what the people did before. Sometimes they can blow your ass away and show, you know, talent that you never thought.
Yeah, yes. This along with the Marvel, yeah, they like Peyton Reed, James Gunn. I'm probably missing someone. Yep, the Russos. Oh God, yeah, the Russos.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Taika Waititi. All these directors have done comedies before, and they come in and make really good superhero movies. Now, are they writing the movie as well, or is someone else writing the movie?
The article I said just says director, but then again, I have no idea who's writing the Flash movie. I mean, if they keep losing directors, they probably keep losing writers too.
Yeah, we probably don't know how many writers they've lost.
I mean, more power to these guys. This seems to be a cursed production for whatever reason.
Well, because they keep changing what the movie's going to be. First, it was just going to be
That's
like
true.
a Flash movie. Then it was a Flash and Cyborg movie, and
And a
then now, yeah,
flashpoint.
now it's Flashpoint movie, and yeah,
It does seem to be that all the shit is rolling downhill to Flash. I get the feeling that in like the executive meetings and like the boardroom meetings, they're like, Johnson, this isn't working out right. Why are the fans mad? How are you gonna fix this? I'm sure they're like, oh, we'll fix it in Flash. We'll fix it in Flash. We promise we're gonna fix it in Flash.
and
Flash will fix everything.
that's like the problem I have with that movie because it's just going to be used as we'll just use this movie to fix everything. We won't actually do any characterization or anything. We'll just fix
No.
all our problems.
Which is even to the point where it's like, are they still going to do that? Because like it seems like they've already kind of given up hope on the whole shared universe thing, and they're just kind of like every movie's going to be standalone now until it's not.
Yeah, well, like, as we were saying the other day, like people are like getting WB are like getting mad that like Aquaman might be as good as like Wonder Woman because
That it's
they were
actually
like
testing
starting
pretty
to like
good.
pool all their money elsewhere.
No,
Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's so weird.
maybe they're like, yeah, fuck it, we'll just do something else.
And people want Wonder Woman 2, and people are excited for Wonder Woman 2, and with good reason. But then it's like, okay, if you're not feeding into like a shared universe, if you're kind of going your own way, then what will these movies become then if they're not working up to anything?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's like that other brand they're doing that like with the like three Joker films. Like
Yeah.
they're not connected, but they have the same actors in the movies that were connected, and yeah, it's
And is
so
Shazam going to
strange.
be connected? Probably not, but maybe if people like it, we'll be forced to.
Yeah, yeah, that's like another thing. Oh, people like this. Oh, well, we will then connect it to the DCEU to make the DCEU look good.
Yeah, because we saw all those like stolen set shots and everything, and his costume looks fucking good.
It looks amazing. Same with
It,
Doctor Savannah.
yeah, I'm like, why are you choosing now to be comic accurate?
Yeah, because they realized that Zack Snyder's vision wasn't what they wanted, and it
Yeah,
took them
but I
three
mean,
fucking films.
better late than never. Pat on the head for you for eventually figuring it out. But yeah, so I mean, good luck on you guys for the Flash film. I would like to say that it's actually going to happen at some point. But man, if they lose these two, because it seems like they're a package deal, then you'll have officially lost four directors.
Oh god.
But that's okay though, because when they get another set of directors, they'll get three directors this time.
It just keeps. Eventually, they just hire like the Directors Guild of America.
Look,
Look, we don't have a set director. We just hired the whole guild.
look. If the Directors Guild of America can't get this done, no one can get it done. And once again, hiding in the shadows, Brett Ratner's like, "I'll do it. I always do it. Under budget and under time." No, Brett, we can't. We're sorry. We just can't anymore, Brett. You'll come back. They all come back.
He's like a ghost, fades back into the wall.
The ghost of Brett Ratner.
Oh
Oh
my
man.
god, it's the ghost of Brett Ratner's career.
But I thought Gal Gadot killed you. That's what they all thought. You can't kill me. Oh, but that's going to be the plot of the new Ghostbusters movie, though. Them trying to exorcise the ghost of Brett Ratner. Who wants to see my day? No, Brett, no. Actually, hey, speaking of that and speaking of Wonder Woman, you see there Kristen Wiig there. At first it was a rumor, but now it seems to be official that she's going to be Cheetah in the Wonder Woman sequel.
That makes no sense to me. Whenever I see Christian Wiig, I'm like, that's the person who needs to play Barbara Ann Minerva. That's the
See,
person. It's
it,
not.
it actually does make sense to me. Maybe I've just seen more of her work, or maybe I just watched SNL more regularly than you did. But she does have depth as an actor. There are some times where she like went dark for comedic effect, where it's like, wow, you actually seem like you got some messed up parts of your personality that haven't shown on screen yet. I'm also further fascinated by the idea. I'm like, okay, you're doing Cheetah in a movie. Does that mean Kristen Wiig is going to be wearing a leopard print cat suit, or is she going to be a werecat woman? Because either way, I totally want to fucking see it.
It's gonna be pretty funny to see her in that like cheetah outfit. But as well,
I
like
hope we get. Oh,
I just can't get past like it's Kristen Wiig, like because I've obviously seen her in all these different roles where she's played like really awkward, and she's
yeah.
played Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, she plays extensions of herself. You're right. She's a performer that's always done that. But you know what? I get the weird feeling that, like in a couple years' time, I think she might blow us away on this one. I think this is one of those castings that's just so fucking weird that it can
It could
only
happen,
pay
yeah.
off.
It could definitely
Like,
happen.
wouldn't it be insane where it's like, dude, Kristen Wiig is Cheetah. That's like modern day Heath Ledger as Joker. Like, she just broke that character wide open and we had no idea.
One would hope.
Yeah, one would hope. Because it's like, look, they had to have seen something in her though to even consider breaching that casting. To be like, no, 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 this is who we want.
They could, but at the same time, these are the people that hired Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor,
Fair enough.
and thought that Cara Delevingne was a good enchantress and villain.
The ironic thing about Cara Delevingne is I've seen her in other stuff and I've seen her in interviews. I'm like, holy shit, you're like the coolest person ever. How did they make you lame?
Also, that mustache guy is Ares.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah,
David
yeah.
Thwaites or something.
Professor Lupin, who is very good in his own right, but he just came out of nowhere. It's like, I was the villain. I'm like, of course you were the villain. You're the only recognizable character actor in this. No one just hires you if you're not going to end up playing the villain. That's like if whenever you see Malcolm McDowell in anything, it's like, oh, he's the villain.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't hire scenery chewing actor to really be bad. That's what I actually loved so much about Hot Fuzz is that every person they cast as the town people were all people who had played famous bad guys at some point. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't know which one's the bad guy because they're all cast by bad guys. And then in the end, not to spoil Hot Fuzz, but they were all actually bad guys anyway. Just one of the many reasons that movie was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, with that, everyone, that's the news for this week. Fair amount to talk about, man. We talked for an hour just on news.
Yeah, that was some really good, juicy news bits. And I imagine there's going to be more in the next week as well.
That's the hope. Like, here's the funny thing. They keep coming out with Marvel Fresh Start titles, but they're not telling us when it's going to stop. They're just doing it. Like, usually it's like, oh, and for the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk about new titles. But no, they didn't even do that. They're just like, yeah, hey, and here's new Deadpool, and here's new this, and here's new everything.
Yeah, they've just been dropping them.
I would love to sit down and make a comprehensive video on this because those always do really well on my channel, but I don't want to because it's like, well, you haven't mentioned Miles Morales yet, you haven't mentioned the X-Men books yet, you haven't mentioned any of those.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's the news, everyone. I figure let's talk about a couple of the books we want to talk about this week, and then we'll give our initial thoughts on Jessica Jones to close it out. We'll try and keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but let's just say we won't go beyond the first several episodes. Because that's where I am, and I don't want Matt to spoil it. Although I think I was already at the big, like, twist point
I think
of the
so,
show.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's going on, huh? Okay, I guess that's the big twist for the season. But yeah, what would you like to talk about, Matt?
Let's talk about a book we both read and I think kind of had differing views on, and that's Batman issue 42.
We really didn't have differing views. It's just I went with a nicer title.
Yeah, brother, yeah.
Thank God one of our fans is like, I'm seeing some discrepancy in the titles here. I went for Ivy League because in Batman number 42, Poison Ivy takes over the Justice League, and it let me make a cute little pun that I like to do. And Matt was like, what the fuck is this shit?
I really was. Okay, last issue we really didn't like, and we both thought, oh, maybe next issue we'll get some answers and maybe we'll find out something. And we got like one answer and like 55 other questions.
As is often the case with Tom King's work. So yeah, as we rejoin the comic, it's like an undescribed amount of time later.
Yeah.
Some people told me it was 2 weeks. Somehow Batman and Catwoman have changed out of their costumes that they were in at the end of the previous issue and are now just lounging, watching TV news, which is put on by the hive mind controlled Poison Ivy. And I'm like, what the fuck is this newscast for?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the hell is going on? Why is nothing happening?
Why are Batman and Catwoman sitting on the couch waiting for the plot to move forward?
Yeah, and the plot moves forward by them going and getting fast food.
Which, man, Tom King is really proud of that Batman themed restaurant he created because they keep popping up in every story.
God, he loves it so much. They go get fast food for no apparent reason, planning their wedding when the world has been taken over by Poison Ivy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's his like, oh, isn't Catwoman so cool and quirky? She's not even worried about how the world has been taken over. And I'm like, yeah, that is a writing technique and everything, but it really comes out of left field and really doesn't help in an issue where you haven't explained jack shit yet.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they just like wind up at a random house that we have no idea until we go a little bit further into the story what that house was about. Batman is able to instantly cripple Superman by whistling.
Yeah,
not just like cripple him. Like it would have like hurt his ears and everything, but like literally cripple him, make him fall from the sky, and like knock him out.
Is that a reference to something? You're a bigger Superman fan than me. I did not get that.
This is just Tom King hating Superman.
Like he said something to the effect of, "Oh, Clark knows what to listen for," and I'm like, "Well, what is he listening for? What did you guys work something out beforehand?" Where it's like, "Oh, if you're ever under control, I'll do a little whistle and that'll shut your brain off or something."
I think it was like more along the lines of, "Oh, like Clark isn't the one listening; it's Poison Ivy." But even still, that didn't make much sense to me.
Yeah, how does that work? You just can't do that and walk away. You need to explain how that happened.
Yeah, they go into the house and there's like an old lady there. They're looking for someone. We have no idea who.
No, he just showed up looking for someone.
Yeah, we have no idea who, and then they get taken by Gorilla Grodd's army and all these people. Oh, no, before that, holy fuck, we forgot about the worst.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the Flash bit.
Oh my god, fucking...
This set the internet on fire this week, and for good reason.
Catwoman takes down 3 Flashes with 1 punch each, and it's acted like oh, this is something I do every day.
Yes, cat-like reflexes. And also, Batman knocked out the Flash in the previous issue. What is Tom King's hate boner with the Flashes recently?
See, that's like, people are like, oh, she doesn't know how to like think fast like the Flash. That's why they were so slow. I'm like, they were still traveling at super insane speeds. And she was able to quickly get a Flash to jump in front of Batman's fist before he hit Alfred, so she has some sort of control over it. So
yeah, like I would even be willing to buy if they had a throwaway line being like, oh, well, Poison Ivy, the Speed Force is a weird thing. She doesn't totally know how to control it, so they're not at 100%. There should be like
the Speed Force is fighting her green power, and it's making her like the powers go like haywire with the Flashes.
That would have been nice, but we don't even get that. No. And Catwoman beats everybody up. Even if I did buy that, it's like, come on. One punch would knock any of these guys out. These guys get punched for a living. They're professional superheroes. One punch can't end them.
Yeah, 1 punch from like a 90-pound thief.
Yeah, you are not One Punch Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and they get captured by like Superman and the rest, and that I found that really funny because we get a shot of them like hanging from the skyscraper with like the League around them. Like, how are like they controlling the Green Lanterns? Because like the Lanterns' rings are controlled by the Will. If they're like mind controlled, the ring would be like, fuck this shit, I'm going off to like alert like Hal and everyone else in the Green Lantern Corps what's happening.
There's also a lot of stuff to where it's like, okay, so Poison Ivy is manipulating the Green to do this. Why hasn't Swamp Thing gotten involved yet?
Exactly.
Why hasn't Animal Man or the Red or the Rot gotten involved yet? If you read the Swamp Thing book, you would know these things are on a very delicate balance thing, and one group always tries to make sure the other one doesn't have too much power.
Yeah, why isn't Vixen getting involved? She's part of the Red. There's like too many variables to have a story like this without any explanation, which we don't get.
They say that, Poison Ivy was able to take control of people's minds because she affected the food supply and then used the power of the green to take over everyone. Okay. What about characters who don't eat?
Like
Like
Cyborg.
the Metal Men. I don't
Yeah.
think Martian Manhunter eats unless it's cookies.
Yeah, or people who aren't on Earth at the time, like the Lantern Corps.
Yeah, what about any of these characters? You didn't think this through all the way, did you, Tom King?
No, no, it's obvious he didn't. But yeah, they're on that building, and we find out that they were after some guy who's allergic to greens. But apparently, he's like the only one in the world who is.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason.
Which very conveniently, the Wayne Foundation is working very closely with this one guy who can't eat anything leafy or green and as such cannot be controlled. To which I say to myself, Tom King, I think you are greatly overestimating the amount of people in North America who eat leafy green foods and shit that isn't like, processed corn or genetically modified potatoes.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Have
too
you been
many
to a
variables.
Have you been to a Walmart, Tom King? There's plenty of people there who I know ain't eating anything leafy or green.
Yeah, and it's implied that Poison Ivy killed this boy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of implied. It's implied so much that she uses Superman to kill Bruce, and then like we have like the biggest fuck you where it's like literally the next page. Oh, Bruce is fine. We brought him back with like magic and science.
Yeah, Poison Ivy brought together like the greatest medical minds the world had to offer to save Batman, which is a weird, like, yes, I'm evil and took over the world, but I don't want to be a killer and I'm walking this back because even though I've hive-minded everybody, I'm feeding them apparently too.
I don't understand.
Because I don't want them to starve to death. And I'm like, well, okay, you're clearly not doing it to keep up the mind control. You don't need to keep feeding people because, as you said to Batman, you do it one time and then, they're mind controlled forever and there's no way to undo it. Then why are you doing this? What, for the benefit of Catwoman and Batman, who are the only two people who are apparently not controlled at this moment?
Yeah, and yeah, that's like another thing. It's up to them because, it has to be because Tom Kim ships these two. And everything.
And Poison Ivy refuses to kill them, even though they're the only two that could stop her plan. But she doesn't.
But she'll kill like innocent boys who can't be affected by her, and just like random guards in that garden, and yeah. God damn it.
Well, I think the garden thing. Well, no, it wasn't. Well, okay, because she talks about war of jokes and riddles, and I'm like, yeah, I hated how you were written in that, too. Why did you bother shacking up with Joker or Riddler when you're clearly more powerful than either of them?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. Actually, a fan pointed out a fun one to me, too, because obviously the big, like, stinger for next issue is that one of the doctors that Poison Ivy brought in was Harley Quinn, and this was apparently part of Batman's plan all along to get all of these doctors and medical minds together in one place.
What?
Where
was this explained?
That's what they sought to imply there, where Batman's like, haha, Harley Quinn's here. My plan of Superman punching me in the face worked.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's what I gleaned from it. Again, like, you might have been so mad at the end, but I had to reread that page a couple times. That's what they sought to imply. But a fan pointed out something funny to me, and that's like, okay, so Poison Ivy got together a bunch of the greatest medical minds. Why is Harley Quinn there? She's a therapist, not a brain doctor. That's like post care.
It's like fitting the narrative to make Batman look amazing and Catwoman to look amazing and everything.
And to work more characters in and be like, Harley Quinn's a head doctor. Yeah, like a talking doctor, though. She doesn't actually go into your head and shit.
Yeah, no, it's awful book. And then after the book came out, Tom King came on like Twitter and is like, "Oh, Batman fans are smarter than usual. You have to have a high IQ to understand Batman." And it's like I don't need to explain this to you. I'm like, yes, you do. You're a fucking writer.
It's amazing to see the difference just a couple arcs can make. After the whole Wonder Woman controversy, he apologized and said he has a lot to learn about writing still. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. You know what? That's nice of you to say, hey fans, your complaints are relevant. It's cool. I get it. But then just one arc later, fuck you.
And again, I think it's got to do with like because that was one Wonder Woman. It wasn't involved with like Catwoman or anything really. Whereas this was like directly a relation to Catwoman, and I think
And characters he likes.
Yeah. So he kind of takes that a little bit personally, and it's like, "Fuck you guys, this is my fan fiction."
Yeah, he does take it seriously too, because if you'll recall way back when I was giving out to him about what is it, her being able to beat Talia al Ghul in a straight up no gimmick sword fight, he again basically said on Twitter, "Look, I'm a writer, it's my story, and if I say she wins, she wins."
Yeah, again, like they're all through the story that's had Catwoman in it from like when they first started getting married. She's been like this, can do no wrong, unbeatable person. She can beat Bane. Didn't she break Bane's back as well?
She did actually.
Yeah, and she beat Talia al Ghul, and now she can beat Poison Ivy and the Flashes and.
It's so funny. Catwoman is now what most people complain when Batman is written as being too powerful. Oh, he's Bat God. She is Cat God now.
Yeah, and that's all these books are now. That it's just Cat God and Bat God. They can do no wrong. Everyone tells them how great they are.
Well, it's hilarious because early on, you and I were joking, being like, "Man, I don't think Tom King likes Batman very much. He's so useless in his own stories for so long." Now, as I stop and think, oh, he was made useless to help prop up Catwoman and show how great she is, or prop up Kite Man and prop up how great he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a fan of this one.
No, it was a terrible issue, and I'm very, very close to actually dropping the book until he gets off of it.
If it didn't do such good views, I probably would have dropped it myself.
I know.
I have to know. There's a dark, twisted part of me that has to know. I'm the guy who read all of Future's End as it came out.
Yeah, I could do anything.
There's nothing you can do to me is as bad as what I choose to do to myself. This is my penance. This is my, self-flagellation reading Batman that I don't like. But from something that wasn't great to something I'm sure we did enjoy more, Infinity Countdown, the first official issue, came out this week.
It did, yeah. It was a very Guardian-centric issue to do with the Power Stone.
Like you said that it's Guardians heavy, it's literally the final issue of Duggan's Guardians run that he never got to finish because they moved him over to write this.
Yeah, and imagine this would be like the and to find out what happens with Groot, pick up Infinity, Mm-hmm. But yeah, we got this.
They drop you right into it.
Yeah, it was really, really cool as well. I really liked that. We had Drax away fighting the Raptors for the Power Stone. Then we had like the rest of the Guardians fighting the Gardener, who finally gets out of Loki's control that he's been in this whole time, and helps get Groot back to like, I guess, adult Groot, or like young adult Groot.
I would say it's closer to like original 60s Groot when he first appeared, because he's actually talking in full sentences now.
Yeah, he's talking full sentences, which is really cool. I'm really glad that Groot's back to talking full sentences.
Very, very, very different. It's been years since that. I suppose Duggan sat down. They're like, okay, well, what new thing can we do with Groot? He's been a baby. He's been a teen. He's been all this other stuff. I'm like, well, I guess we can go back to the very beginning when he was king of the tree people and spoke with words.
Yeah, that's really cool. We also get a really cool tease at the end of this involving Black Widow.
Yes.
Who's alive now. I'm like an issue behind on Tales of Suspense, and I know the Black Widow they were hunting in that isn't Black Widow. Well, it's not Natasha.
Right.
But yeah, she's like.
But maybe it is. We don't know. We'll have to finish it.
Well, no. Yeah, no. The one in Tales of Suspense is revealed to be Yelena Belova.
Oh, nice. The blonde one, which is fitting because Black Widow is going to be blonde in the new upcoming movie.
Yeah, but this one is definitely Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff. I don't know how it is. She was in the Captain Marvel book, was she?
I don't know. Was she?
I don't know. I remember seeing like a cover with her on it, and there was like the Reality Stone on it as well.
Well, I mean, heck, if Sakaar came back and the Super Skrull and all this other stuff, let's just say the Stones did it until they tell us why.
Yeah. Well, now she's got a stone of her own because Logan leaves her the Space Stone.
Which is very interesting. Where it's like, okay, what made him not want it anymore?
Yeah, we don't really see because we see at the in that issue before we see him like actively defending it and keeping it
Yeah,
safe from like Ultron and stuff like that. So like
yeah.
yeah, why is he like now like ditching it? Because he said in that like he doesn't want to like let it go. He doesn't want
hmm
to. He wants to keep it. So yeah, it's very interesting that he would just like leave it
Was he
in the
becoming
back of a toilet.
no less? Yeah, he took an upper decker with a stone. Was he becoming too much like Gollum? Was he becoming all weird and covetous? My precious bub, my precious snicked.
Maybe because yeah, well, like the stuff he was saying in that issue really did kind of sound like that. It's like, I'm going to use the stones to like make my people good again and all that
Uh,
sort of stuff. Like maybe he realized like I'm becoming a bit too obsessive with this. I'll just leave it for a friend.
which is hilarious because it's like, oh, Wolverine could be tempted to the dark side and to use the stone to put everything back in the X-Men universe. I'm like, that's not evil. Go for it.
Yeah.
It'd be terrible if you talk to fans. We'd be in the book going, no, man, do it totally. Rewrite everything so
Yeah,
X-Men
come
is
on,
back
man.
to
Yeah, come on. Do it and I'll buy you a beer.
yeah. Delete like the last like 10 years, like everything past Schism. Feel free to delete. Just take us back there and don't fight. How about that? That's okay. But yeah, this was a fun issue. I got to see the Nova Corps again because I haven't seen them in a bit because I wasn't reading Duggan's Guardians book. I love there's a pregnant field leader who tricks one of the Raptors who's like, oh, I can't punch a pregnant lady. Oh yeah, shoot.
Yeah, she's a really cool character. She appeared in the last couple of issues. She's like the one who found the Power Stone. Her like
Mm.
her like team were surveying like a planet and found it, and she's been like looking after it.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know what it is about pregnant women in comics that makes some men comic fans lose their goddamn mind. One guy wrote a big long screed on my channel being like, "That's unrealistic," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the talking tree man and the raccoon and the group of space pirates named after an Earth bird. That's very realistic, isn't it?" What a weird thing to zero in on, dude. Just because you're freaked out by pregnant people doesn't mean you have to take it out on the comic. I'm sorry, that's your phobia. That's your MTV My Weird Affliction.
Yeah, some people are really weird about it, but yeah, what you gonna do?
Yeah, guess not. Fun story. I imagine you'll probably get more out of it if you were actually reading Duggan's Guardians.
Yeah, you would. It's like yeah, as you said, it's like wraps up all like the ties that were left over from that series in a nice bow.
Yeah. What else did you have this week, Matt?
We had Superman issue 42.
We sure did. The first appearance of Boy Zorro.
Yeah, Boy Zara, as well as the first rebirth reappearance of the original Bizarro.
A lot of people were confused by that. They're like, hey, this isn't clone Bizarro from Red Hood and the Outlaws. I'm like, no, this is the real deal Bizarro world version.
Yeah, this is the better one.
This is arguably the better one. Although I did like the clone for a little bit there in Forever Evil. I don't like the book he's in at the moment.
Well, apparently that's a different clone altogether.
Oh, really? Is it?
Apparently, I got told that. I like
Oh,
hadn't
shit.
read. Yeah, I hadn't read since like Forever Evil, so I thought, oh, that's the same clone as in this. He's just gone through a lot. But it was like, no,
Oh,
that clone was killed by Alexander Luthor, and this is like a new one that
that's
was
right.
like found by like Roman Sionis or something.
Oh, the Black Mass just found him in a back alley. Just found him under a
Yeah,
couch cushion.
yeah, and was using him
Oh.
as like hired muscle.
Oh, well, that's not nearly as interesting then. Unlike real deal Bizarro, who is always interesting.
Yeah, and I like the first couple of parts of this issue were like a mirrored version of the Superman Rebirth issue 1,
Yes, it was.
like completely mirrored in every way. I thought that was really
Same
good.
dialogue, but moved around.
Yeah, same dialogue, but in that like Bizarro speak.
Speak. Like instead of talking about his son's birthday, he says my son's death day, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that would be the opposite of birthday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was all really cool, and we learned that like Boy Zyro isn't happy because his parents are always getting into domestic abuse sort of matches and everything.
On Bizarro World, spousal abuse and toxic relationships is love because it's the opposite.
Yeah, yeah, and he's not happy with that, and he sees like John, because John and Kathy like visit the universe from like Kathy's ship.
They've gone full on Rick and Morty. They're doing interdimensional cable. They're just hopping into every one of the different universes and going, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, they do that, and he saw that, and I guess he wanted that. He wanted that life, and yeah, and then the story like kind of cuts over to like John and what he's up to, and we see like the opposite of like Bizarro and his Lois, whereas Clark and Lois are like loving and like they have date nights and all this sort of stuff.
They're super loving. They're borderline horny. They're like, man, can't wait till John goes to bed so we can Netflix and chill, huh, Lois? I'll get out the kryptonite rubbers, which I'm sure is the only way this can happen.
Yeah, Lois is a tough girl.
She's very, especially in this run, is she tough?
But yeah.
Oh, geez, Batman, thanks for making those kryptonite Benoit balls anytime, buddy.
I had them already prepared.
Really? Oh, I'm prepared for everything. I'm prepared for everything. Superman flies away slowly.
Oh god. But yeah, Bizarro, Boy Bizarro ends up coming and like not attacking John, but like saying hi to him in the only way he knows how, which is like breaking through his window
and screaming.
Yeah.
He bursts in like the Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting. I said in my review, like I think what they're planning on doing is like having Boy Bizarro try and get himself adopted by like Clark because he sees like the love and all that, and Bizarro doesn't like that. Like he thinks he's kidnapped his son or something, and it's like a big misunderstanding.
As is always the case with Bizarro, because that's the thing. Bizarro is not inherently evil. He's just the opposite of Superman. He's completely fine by the laws of his universe. It's just whenever he comes to ours, do things get fucked up.
Yeah, it's only ever a couple of times is he's depicted as an actual villain.
Yeah, he's usually misunderstood most of the time.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna be a really fun story, and it's gonna be Tomasi and Gleason's last story as well.
Yeah, that's kind of sad that this will be the end of them for a bit. But, you know, I'm excited because I hope they go to another book that really needs them.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they'll stick around somewhere.
Yeah, shoot it. I mean, like, you could put it on any book, and I'd be like, okay, I want to read that now.
Exactly. They're so good at what they do.
They could totally write their own check now. I mean, geez, they gave me a reason to want to read Damian and Batman and Robin again. They gave this book, you know, so much personality. I can't wait to see where they go.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
What else did we have this week? We had Batman White Knight.
We did. This was a cool issue.
They've all been really cool issues. This one especially.
Yeah. So this is like the hunt for Batman. Yeah.
I really liked Fast and the Furious Jim Gordon, who ties like a bandana around his head and is like, if anyone's gonna track Batman down, it's gonna be me. I've let him go for too many years.
I actually really like that plan. That plan actually kind of made a lot of sense. Where like they're like, okay, we're gonna be chasing Batman, and he's got like the most high tech, like flash hot Batmobile ever, and we're gonna need something.
It's a supercomputer on wheels.
Yeah, we're gonna need something analog. We'll get the Batman 89 Batmobile.
So goddamn cool. Like, again, if you didn't think that this comic already existed in the world of, like, Tim Burton Batman and Batman the Animated Series, oh, look, it's the 90s Batmobile.
Yeah, they end up chasing Batman down with a really cool plan where, like, Jim's piloting the Batmobile, but he's not really. He's, like, in it remotely controlled, so they can flash Batman with all these lights and everything and disorientate his computers and himself and then send Jim Gordon all, you know, Dominic Toretto after him.
It was a family, copping, smoking, Coronas. That's what I'm about. But yeah, it was a really good plan where it's like, yeah, you should try and get Batman out on the road because it's like you would never be able to take him at the mansion or the Batcave and anything. The best chance to get him would be on the road.
Yeah, where you literally have control over where he goes and what he does.
We then get a shirtless fist fight with Jack Napier, like he was a freaking Yakuza boss. He rips off his shirt and it's like, let's fight.
Yeah, he gets to fight Batman and he wins.
He does. Batman's all fucked up from the crash, and Joker, he's all high on pills, and he's been working out and everything. He's been drinking green tea and lifting weights all day.
Yeah, but that's like not the only thing that happens while all this shit's going down. Goddamn Neo Joker and the Mad Hatter attack them with that big Nazi super cannon thing.
The big Nazi freeze gun from like freaking Batman and Robin, where it's like, well, they just had one sitting around. And then Mr. Freeze gives us his origin in this new universe, and it's once again a very heartbreaking, very tragic origin.
Yeah, oh god, I love like when they paint Mr. Freeze as like this tragic villain who's not really a villain.
No, especially not here. He's like, yeah, my dad was like a Nazi baron. Thomas Wayne got us into the country on the pretext of, using our freeze tech to help people. Obviously, my dad was a dick, and the government wanted to use it for crime and everything, or to use it for, weapons. Another great thing about this, and it's a blink and you'll miss it thing, when he talks about his wife, Nora, her name is now Nora Smithstein, so she was Jewish.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was a really nice touch of like, no, we really got to show he's the son of a Nazi, but he's not bad,
yeah,
though.
He's good, though. He's good, though. He's a good, one of those good ones.
Yeah, one of the good sons of a Nazi, he's not bad. And like Batgirl pleading with him, like, look, you got to help us stop the freeze can. You got to help us stop all this. And he's like, nah, my wife is dead. I'm growing old now. I'm rapidly aging. It's all on you.
Yeah, I'm retired.
I'm super retired. It's all on you. It's so funny, the Batgirl in this issue to be like the only advocate for Batman, the only one who actually thinks he's doing a good job and is the only one, kind of vocalizing, hey, give him a chance. Where you compare that to main universe Batgirl, who like freaking roasted him in Detective Comics last week.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and she's like the only one as well that's like kind of sane, kind of keeping a level head, whereas like Dick's going off and like, oh, I gotta capture Bruce, but we gotta keep his mask on and all this sort of stuff, and Batman's just gone off the deep end saying this guy who was the Joker isn't the Joker anymore, but he is. And it's also cool at the end of this issue he does kind of come back as the Joker.
Yeah. We don't know if he did it purposely or if he just dressed himself up like the Joker, because that's Neo Joker's one demand. Bring me Jack Napier.
Yeah, she like writes in ice on the big buildings that like send Joker.
It's funny too, you mentioned how what is it, Batgirl's the only sane one and everyone else is kind of doing crazy stuff. I like that up until now everyone's beliefs have been kind of, set in stone and kind of black and white. Here we kind of see every character start to carry around some contradictions. Nightwing wants to bring Batman in, but he still loves him like a father and refuses to give up his secret identity. That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Harley Quinn, doesn't want the Joker to go give himself up, but at the same time hates the idea of him writing off one of his other sidekicks because, she's used to that kind of being ignored and used to that kind of abuse.
Yeah.
It's really well done, where I'm like, wow, it's really hard to write characters that walk around with contradictions, but to still have them be, characters that are themselves not contradictory.
Yeah, I think we said the last issue they're adding like all these new facets to these characters while not getting rid of those old things that like make them Batman, make them Dick Grayson, make them all these different characters. They're not erasing that to make these new
things work.
Yeah, new things work.
Even better, Batman, who up until now in this series has been shown to be, kind of a violent psychopath in his own right. When Napier challenges him to a fist fight, he takes off all his gadgets and willingly fist fights him fairly. I'm like, oh, wow, he's brutal. He's a little nuts, but he still believes in fair play. Holy shit.
He does, but also at the same time, that's him being like arrogant as fuck. Whereas
He's
like
also
I don't need any of this shit to beat you. You're the Joker.
Yeah, I've just been in a car accident, but I can still take you.
Yeah, which is really funny because doesn't the Joker like choke him out with like his belt?
He does. He like does some crazy shit to him. And even the Joker too, where it's like, oh, I've saved the city against Batman. I proved there a better way. Oh, but at the same time, I'd love to kill him right now. Oh, I wonder what Batman's doing. I'm such a big Batman. Oh my God, I'm still obsessed. Even when I'm healthy, I'm obsessed with Batman, which I think is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good book, and we've got, I think, 2 more issues left?
I thought it was 12. Is it 12 or is it 6?
I think it's 8.
It's 8. Okay, it might only be 8, but yeah, only a couple more. Yeah, I guess we're nearing the end because the first issue of this started with Jack Napier going to Arkham and saying, "Hey, Batman, we need your help."
Yeah, we're kind of nearing the end there, but yeah, I hope we get like more stuff from Sean Murphy like this. I know like
Hmm.
he was I don't know whether it was actually happening, but he was like teasing people on like Twitter that like he was going to pitch like a volume 2,
Oh,
and he was asking people what they'd like to see and everything.
I could easily see a volume 2 because like they set up that stuff with Jason Todd, and I'm like, I get the feeling this isn't going to be resolved here.
I'd like to see like that, but I'd also like to see like the greater world outside of Gotham. Like,
Mm.
is there a Justice League? Is there other heroes?
Yeah. How do they feel about Batman? How
Yeah.
does Metropolis relate to Superman in a world that is, kind of more realistic? Do the cops just sit on their ass and do nothing in Metropolis because they're like, Superman's got this?
Yeah, yeah, that'll be like really all interesting stuff.
Is there no crime in like no traditional street crime or in Metropolis at all because they know Superman can stop them at any time?
Yeah, you could like mirror it with the way it's like Gotham is like all dirty and like kind of run down, whereas like Metropolis is like this like paradise.
Or is it a paradise where people kind of walk around in fear, being like, oh, if I
Yeah,
litter
yeah,
or I jaywalk or get into a bar fight, will Superman come down and punish me? It's basically like living with literal Big Brother all the time who can see and hear you no matter what you're doing.
yeah. Everyone walks around on eggshells. They don't do anything wrong for fear of what will happen.
And even if Superman is still every bit the good guy we know, that's still terrifying because as humans, we are naturally distrustful of everybody.
Yeah, you could do like a really cool story where like he doesn't want that, but that's how it is.
That's how everyone views him. And and Luthor, who in the best Luthor stories, that's what he feels anyway, where it's like, why should I have to live with a friggin' golden god hovering above me, judging me all the goddamn time? i
Yeah.
i could be a hero, I could do amazing things if it wasn't for Superman, but no, I just can't.
Sure, Murphy, if you want to break from writing this, you can
Yeah.
hire us and you could just do the
we
art.
we we just hammered out the skeleton script there. Now what would you call that? Because it couldn't be like, if it was Batman White Knight, what would the Superman version be? It would be Superman
uh,
Man. It wouldn't be Steel. It would have to be something else. Man of Glass.
yeah, something like that.
Like people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones or something like that, or Superman, all-seeing eye or something like that. Superman Big Brother.
Yeah, something like that.
Superman 1984, if you just want to go full Orwell with it. Just freaking do that. God, I see, Matt, we've pitched too good a story. I want to see that story now.
I do. It's a really good story. That sounds like a really good story.
And what would the Jimmy in that world be? Would he really be Superman's buddy because he's the one person he understands and talks to as a human being, or is he like, like cultishly devoted to Superman? Like he's out there in the streets being like, no, Superman is what's best for us. He loves us and protects us. Superman wants you to be the best you can be. He gave me a watch.
He would be like that, and like Lois would be like Superman would like want to be with Lois, but like she's really scared of him because of like
Yeah.
what he does and everything, and he tries to explain to her and everything, but she's just too scared and everything, and
Yeah, yeah, where it's like, oh, well, obviously I know you're Clark, but why do you make me go through this thing of you being Clark when I know you're Superman?
yeah, yeah.
We have to keep the act up, honey. Okay. Don't want to be mad. No, I'm not mad. It's like, yeah, but it's like if you were mad though, you could kill us all with a look. So yeah, that would be really interesting because it's like you think of Superman as a concept. Here's a guy who's basically a walking, talking nuke who could murder anyone if you set him off. He doesn't because he's the best guy ever, but you would always live in fear of what if he snapped.
Yeah, exactly, and it'd basically be doing what like Zack Snyder tried to do,
But
except
good.
yeah, but like interesting and awesome.
And good and based in the universe. And yeah, because in a world like that, we would all become Lex Luthor and we would all become Batman, where it's like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. There's no way this guy can be all good all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
If he is human, he must inherently be flawed. What is his flaw? Man, that's some good shit. What else did we have this week? I didn't have a heck of a lot more after that because I wanted to
Have you read Green Arrow 38 yet?
I have not yet. You think I would, right? Because it's my favorite hero, and this is the final Ben Percy issue. But please, if you did, go for
Oh,
it.
oh, it was so good. I did have a couple of questions about like the legality of like what what Oliver did this issue though. But yeah, it's like the final issue of Benjamin Percy's really great run. And it's the court case against him. It's the
Mm.
trial. He goes to trial with Kate Spencer and everything, and he pays Kate Spencer off to let himself be his own defense.
After all she's been through.
Yeah, and yeah, he pays her off and everything, and
That's fine. I'm gonna take all that money and become Manhunter. You'll see.
and
Because that's who she is. She's Manhunter.
yeah. And yeah, he sort of talks about like how like the Ninth Circle is behind everything. The guy prosecuting him is like being blackmailed by Dante, the leader of the Black Order. The underground men like have his daughter, but what he does, what Dante and he doesn't know is that Batman went and saved her.
Nice.
And it's really cool because it sort of brings everything full circle. Whereas like Oliver in those road trip books helped the other hero, those other
And
heroes
now
come
they're
back
paying it
and they're
back.
he helps her get the daughter away and everything, and then the Flash, like this is where it starts to get like really like this isn't legal. The Flash runs the prosecutor out into the middle of like the mountains and like says like, okay, you got to stop, working with that Ninth Order, they're bad people. Okay, your daughter's safe now, you got to walk back to town, I'm not running you back. So there's no prosecutor.
That's total tampering, is what.
Yeah, there's no prosecutor, and the judges try to get everything into order, like banging the gavel. Superman like heat visions the gavel out of his hands and tells Oliver to like keep continuing on with his story. He tells them all about like how like they're the Black Order, the Ninth Circle, are, like in with like the Queen Industries investments. He's got like all these like lists that he got with Hal, who conveniently projects like all the like the bad shady shit with like constructs.
You didn't know that that's one of his powers. He's a courtroom projector, but he can do that too. There's a setting on the ring too for Microsoft Office.
Yeah. But all of it comes in a culmination when Wendy Poole arrives, and and wants to talk and like sort of give her testimony, since she sort of snapped out of like that like daze she was in.
Yeah.
And yeah, he kind of gets off. We don't see him like get acquitted or anything. It kind of cuts later on when him and Dinah are hunting what's his name, Dracon.
Oh yeah. Constantine Dracon, nice.
Yeah.
He came back.
Yeah, they're hunting him across rooftops. And it's like, I'm so happy I'm free.
That's like the one Judd Winnick Arrow Green Arrow villain that Percy hadn't used yet, and he put him in right at the end.
And he made him like a complete jobber as well.
Oh, nice.
He like goes down instantly.
I mean, Draken in the comics was always a little ridiculous. Ooh, I'm a little Greek man who wears sandal shoes, and I have a dragon tattoo, and I can catch arrows out of the air.
Yeah, he goes down, and Oliver's talking to like Dinah about like, oh, now that like all that's all behind us, what do we do next? And it's like, oh, I tell you what we do next. And all the stuff that we've had throughout this issue, like the story with the bullet train, the story with the people, the homeless people that live in the jungle, it all comes back full circle where he reopens the train. He the tribe that had the renewable energy source, he meets with them.
That's right.
And barters a deal with the city where the city will get their renewable energy. He renames Star City back to Seattle.
Does he? See, I don't like that. We finally got Star City. Don't change it back to Seattle.
Well, that's how it looked. That's how it looked. They're like painting a sign and it said Seattle on it.
I mean, I guess technically Star City was the invention of the evil bad guy, so they want to wash that away. But fuck.
Yeah, he gives his treehouse to all the homeless people, builds it up a bit better so they have like a place to live. And the last thing he does is he builds it's like a halfway house, and he calls it the Dynalance halfway house or something.
Oh, that's nice.
And then he goes off and he joins the Justice League and like his own team and becomes a hero. And the final page is a recreation of the cover of the first issue.
Ooh,
with
him, was a great cover.
With him with the arrow and everything, but this time he's smiling and everything because he's a hero.
Sounds like I'm really going to enjoy that.
It's a really good book, really good.
it's funny. This one has come to an end. There's going to be a filler arc next. They have not announced who's going to be taking over that book.
Really?
No, yeah, it's going to be a fill-in person for the next arc, and then no one, and then no one has been announced yet.
Oh, that'll be interesting to see who's up next.
It will be. It's like I'm like, please tell me you're actually working on finding someone good. Please tell me you just didn't let that slip your mind. Hilariously, Percy's done here. He's going over to Nightwing now, which means I'm allowed to start reading Nightwing again.
You just got to keep following around all the different heroes he helps.
Apparently he goes to all the books I like that are in need of help. Man, Green Arrow really needs some help. Don't worry, Joel, I'm coming. Man, Nightwing needs help. Don't worry, Joel, I'll help this one out too. Apparently he says his Nightwing book is really a book to watch because he creates a villain in this that's going to be like a big universe-wide villain in the next couple of coming years.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, he's really good at creating. Yeah, he's really good at creating villains, and they're making it sound like it's going to be a good jumping-on point, even if you don't read Nightwing.
Yeah, that does sound like a really interesting thing. But yeah, I'm interested to see who's going to take over from him, and whether like now that like we've got kind of Green Arrow back as like the old universe Green Arrow, whether like we'll see him like join the Justice League on missions or like help out with like, you know, a Batman issue or something.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that.
You know, the things we say on this show have a funny way of becoming true if I just put it out to the universe. So I would like to put out to the universe, can Judd Winnick come back and write Green Arrow for a little bit? I mean, you got Greg Rucka to come back and write Wonder Woman. You got Dan Jurgens to come back and write Superman. I think it would be very fitting if Judd Winnick came back for a little bit.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I would be on board with that. Or shit, what's Tim Seeley doing now? Have Tim Seeley come over and write Green Arrow because they're just trading books. Just do that, why don't you? Oh no, I know it's like now Tom King writing Green Arrow.
Oh god, I'd laugh so hard at that and then be like, oh.
The ironic thing is he would probably have a better time with Green Arrow than he would Batman.
Oh yeah, he hasn't said anything that like he hates Green Arrow or anything.
No. I actually think he would find the humanity in Green Arrow, and I think he would find the humanity in his relationship with Black Canary.
Yeah, he's kind of a niche character a little bit, and Tom
King
seems to do really well with those characters.
Excels, you might say. I guess one more book we can talk about. Did you read No Surrender, Part 9?
I did, yes. And everything that happened, everything that we've been saying for like the last 8 issues happened.
Boy, did it, and then some. I dug this one. They're fighting over the last Pyramoid, and instead of focusing on a bunch of different teams, it just focuses on Beast and the Wasp.
Yeah, the ones who are like next to the Pyramoid when it appeared.
Yeah, it's all about them. We kind of have a whole, deep inside the body of Butler Jarvis. And I like, hey, when you're the size of a Pym particle, apparently memories are like shown on the wall like big slides.
Yeah, they're like projected onto the side of your like frontal lobe.
But man, Jarvis has some amazing comic artwork in his brain.
Well, maybe that's the cause of it. He's got like comic artwork shoved into the middle of his brain. Oh no.
I remember that run too.
Yeah, the High Evolutionary shoved a comic into his brain.
Oh, you see, there's your problem, Jarvis. You got all of Comixology lodged up in your brain. You got the whole Comixology app in there. Let's just take that out. But yeah, so, Beast tries and cures him of his sickness. Meanwhile, Nadia tries to fight the ghosts and grab the Pyramoid, only she can't grab the Pyramoid for some reason. It rejects her.
Can't grab it, can't shrink it, can't do anything to it.
Yeah, which is very weird, because up until now, the Pyramoids haven't been picky about who grabs them.
Yeah, anyone can, but this one's a special one.
Yeah, a very special one indeed. They work together. They're able to free Jarvis from the disease, get him back. And, he has some dark secrets that he wants to get out there. He's been yelling, it's a lie, it's all a lie. And then Voyager comes in, takes the last Pyramoid, and Jarvis finally gets it out. There's never been a Valerie Vector. She was never an Avenger. She fucked with all your memories.
Yeah, I did find it funny, though, that, like, as soon as he said that, Beast is like, come to think of it, yeah. And I'm like, wow, that was really quick.
You see, Voyager didn't put in for the really good, like, mental conditioning. She didn't put in for, like, the Professor X level mental fuckery. She had, like, bargain bin mental fuckery where it's like, it works. But then the second someone challenges you, you're like, yeah, you know what, you're right.
Yeah,
I
so
don't remember that.
so like what we said like ages ago, like why Jarvis was like knocked out for so long as he was, and everything kind of came true. She's like, she's not painted as a villain yet.
Not yet. We know she wanted the pyramid. We know she was lying, but that does
Yeah.
not inherently mean that she's a bad guy.
Yeah, so we don't exactly know. We don't even know if her name is Valerie Vector or Voyager.
No, no. More than that, we don't even know where it's like, okay, well, whose side is she on then if she's grabbing the pyramid? She's not working with the Avengers. Is she working with Grandmaster? Is she working with the Challenger? Or is she working
I
with herself, maybe?
I was actually thinking about this. I'm thinking like, what if like this whole Hulk thing was like a red herring? Like we thinking like the Challenger's talking about the Hulk and we see the Hulk, but he's actually talking about Voyager, and Voyager's like his ace in the hole.
I think you're right, actually, is the thing. I think that's absolutely what it's going to be. They trick you with the return of the Hulk. But it's like, no, no, no. The Hulk returned for completely different reasons. No, no, no. He was talking about Voyager the whole time.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That would be cool, actually. I'd be like, you know what? That's slick. You know what? I believed it. I not only believed it, I believed it for weeks. Which that would be cool, because then you would get a Voyager Hulk fight, I'm sure they'd build up to.
That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, as we were saying, I'd like to see that that other creation that she was fighting or apparently
Mm.
was fighting. We don't even know if that was real.
It's true. Her whole story might be made up.
Yeah, exactly. Which yeah, that's really interesting. I'm hoping we get a little bit more detail about that and how she went about doing that.
It's funny, they had us interested where it's like, okay, who is this new Voyager character? Where did she come from? What's her deal? All right, that's fine. Now we know none of it's true. It's like, okay, now I'm really interested. Where is she from? What's her deal?
And again, like I look back at like what we were saying about it, and I'm like, when we found out about like her origins, they were still very murky, and I'm like, yeah, there's something going on there. There's something not
Yeah,
really right there.
it can't be as straightforward as they're making it, and indeed it wasn't straightforward.
No, no.
I guess too, now that we're like I guess at like the halfway point or almost at the halfway point for this no surrender storyline, all the pyramids have been claimed. It looks like both guys have set up a team now, or that they all have people. I guess the big question is what's part two of this game? What's round two of the game?
Yeah, I had no idea where it could go from here because we still got to have like the Hulk like fight the Avengers or fight someone.
Yeah.
We got to have the Avengers find out what's happened to like Red Wolf and Human Torch, as well as all the other team find out about Valerie and about like
Yeah.
what her deal is. So yeah, there's a
Hmm.
lot to happen. How many issues? It's 16 issues, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we still got like what, like 6 issues left?
Yeah, a couple more weeks going. But
Yeah.
let's count it out. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Yeah,
16.
seven.
This many. We got this many more issues, Matt, to go.
Yeah, so there's like gonna be a lot of cool shit happening in those issues, I reckon. So it hasn't had
Yeah.
a bad issue yet.
No, they've all been very enjoyable so far. Some have been better than others. I particularly like this one because it actually buckles down and focuses on two characters instead of a whole big team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's just cool to read about Beast again being good and doing good stuff. There was like a
Yeah.
weird space of time there where they're like, Beast is going to be a morally gray character. I'm like, why?
You have Dark Beast for that.
They don't anymore. They killed him. But yeah, it's always like, with Beast, he's like, oh, my stars and garters. I'm going to quote some Shakespeare at you while I read my book hanging upside down. Why Bendis tried so hard, but it's like, no, he's actually a dark character who does morally questionable things. I'm like, no, he isn't. I'm glad he's fun again. Also, I'm glad to see Nadia Pym, even though she doesn't have a book anymore, she's still getting a lot of play in this story.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting.
I'm excited to see that she's kind of sticking around. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I guess does that do it for this week, Matt? Do we have anything else to say?
No, that's pretty much all the books I've read so far.
Same here. I guess real quick thoughts there on Jessica Jones. We're already at what is it, an hour 50 for this. Let's just come back next week when we've watched the whole thing, and we'll talk about the whole thing. We'll do a big spoiler cast when we've both seen it.
Sounds good.
Because you're done, and I'm almost done. I'll be done by next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you everyone for listening this week. We hope you had a good time. Hope you had some laughs. Hope you learned some lessons. because that's what we try and do on this show. We try and teach some lessons. If you are in the Toronto area this week, I will be at EGLX tomorrow. Tomorrow being Sunday, I will be there all day. I'm going to try to, I mean, you're only going to get to hear about this if you're a patron member. But hey, might as well throw it out there anyway. Also, people are saying the show cuts out at the end. I'm going to try and fix that. I had it working for a bit, and then it stopped working. I think it's my rendering process is what it does. Sometimes it cuts it off at the end. It's very, very weird. But it didn't cut off the special commentary, so that's good.
That's good.
That's the important thing. So yes, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, favorite, comment, and we'll be back again next week, Matt.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
I always am, especially as we near closer and closer to 100 episodes.
Yeah, 100. That's coming up.
100 bright, shiny episodes. So thank you, everyone. We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.